If you want to be more efficient and effective while running your business with more inner peace, then working on the core of your issues instead of putting on a band-aid is vital. Welcome to the Business Brain Podcast.
I'm your host, Esty Rapport, and here to help you improve your 28 cognitive functions, the 28 things that make up thinking. In each episode, we'll discuss a real-life challenge, why you might be struggling with it, and give you practical strategies so all areas of your life will improve.
First time I met Helena, I fell in love with her vision and her mission. She was empowering parents to maximize their children's potential. How cool. Now, while she was on a big mission and the work she was doing was super impactful, Helena didn't always have the motivation to work. By the end of our signature 90-day program, Helena had rewired her brain to find the motivation no matter what situation she was in. If you're experiencing something similar, I'm here to tell you, you do not have to struggle forever. In this episode 463 of the Business Brain Podcast, I'm going to share with you the exact steps of what you can do to have your own transformation. But first, do you struggle with procrastination, distraction, time management, or overwhelm? What if it was no longer a struggle, and not because of some superficial hack, but rather because your brain just no longer struggles with it? It's possible because we can create new neural connections in your brain where these challenges are no longer a challenge. Learn more about how we can work together to make this happen at lifepeaksuniversity.com/OYB. While you are doing any task, you, without even realizing it, are using your 28 thinking skills. Where the thinking skills you need to use are strong, doing the task happens easily. If the thinking skills you need to use is weak, doing the task will be a challenge. The struggle that Helena had came from a weak thinking skill of perseverance together with categorizations. When something is easy, we tend not to need to persevere as much. So while we want to work on our perseverance by developing a growth mindset, we also want to understand what is going on here. Why is this task such a challenge? And what thinking skill is getting in the way? In Helena's case, it was the thinking skill of categorization. Now let's understand what perseverance, growth mindset, and categorizations each are so we can see how they all work together. Ready? Perseverance is about not giving up even when things are hard or boring. The opposite of perseverance is blocking. You feel like you have this wall in your brain and you simply can't get through. Now, even though blocking feels like you can't get through, it doesn't have to stay that way, especially if you develop a growth mindset. So what's a growth mindset? A growth mindset is always about looking for ways to grow, become better, and figure out a solution, because there always is a solution. Instead of approaching the challenging situation as something hard and impossible to do, you think of it as a situation that you're gonna find a way to tackle. You ask for advice, you'll find a new strategy. You don't give up even when it's hard. With the growth mindset, you have a much easier time with perseverance as you don't let yourself build that blocking wall. Instead, you're on a mission to figure it out. And if that wall does show up, you look for ways to break the wall down to be able to figure it out. Now, categorizations is a thinking skill about taking big groups and splitting it into small groups, but it's also the opposite. It's taking small groups and putting it into big groups. Because Helena was struggling with categorizations, she wasn't working in the most efficient manner, which was causing her to get stuck and lose motivation. One of the great benefits of improving the thinking skill of categorization was that she was now able to zoom out. She was now able to see the big picture. She was now able to see the big categories. Often she gets stuck and blocked in those little details. By training her brain to see the big categories, to see the big picture, she was constantly reminded of why she was doing what she was doing, and she had the motivation to move forward. So instead of getting really stuck on this little detail that she was focusing on and having this wall being built up in her brain, she would simply zoom out and simply see the bigger category and remind herself, oh, like, why am I doing this? What is the mission of it? And all of a sudden now she was able to approach the situation with a growth mindset instead of getting frustrated. Do you see how it all ties together? By improving her thinking skill of categorizations, it made the task easier and gave her motivation as a reminder why she was doing what she was doing. This fueled her growth mindset and helped her persevere even with tasks she didn't really want to do. The reason you may be struggling with perseverance might be a different reason. Next week, I'll share with you a different client who struggled with perseverance for a different reason. Meanwhile, if you're struggling with perseverance, you want to develop a growth mindset. You want to train your brain to embrace challenges instead of giving up. If you'd like to improve your growth mindset, listen to episode 352 and 360, where we go deep on this topic. The second thing you want to do is you want to understand which thinking skill is getting in your way and causing your blocking wall to come up. Start by taking the thinking skill assessment at lifepeaksuniversity.com/CF to understand where each of your thinking skills are standing. Then you can see which thinking skill is causing the wall in your brain and know which thinking skill you need to improve. Based on that, you can find endless amount of content here about what you can do to improve that thinking skill. Feel free to hit me up on Instagram at LifePeaksUniversity, and I will help you figure it out. Have an awesome rest of your day and persevere. You've got this.
That's all for this episode of the Business Brain Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please share it with 2 of your business friends so they too can gain from it, and you'll be helping us reach our goal of 1 million downloads by the end of 2025. Cheers to peak brain performance.